Hi and welcome to Preview. My name is Guy Giampapa. Preview.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, cue Guy.
Well, hello and welcome to Preview. My name is Guy Giampapa. We've got a great show for you today. The Happy Medium Theater is doing Roman Noon's popular play, Brendan, and we'll talk to people from that show in just a moment. But first, let's talk about theater. When it was first announced Fiddlehead Theater would enter into a partnership with the City Performing Arts Center Shubert Theater, the cheers were heard throughout the Boston theater community. Success was written all over it. Fiddlehead has now proved that. Their version of Showboat is an American musical drama, and it made history when it first opened in New York in 1927. In those days, no musical was taken seriously. The standard fare at that time had been music extravaganzas, revues, and the operettas of Victor Herbert, Rudolf Frimmel, and Sigmund Romberg. Showboat changed all that. Fiddlehead Theater took on the task of recreating this classic and premiered it at Boston Shubert Theater. It's a lavish production featuring a cast of 50 international and off-Broadway performers. The quality of this production is superb. Co-directed by Stacy Stevens and Meg Fofanoff, Showboat features some beautiful voices, lovely music, colorful costumes, and the lyrics of Jerome Kern and Oscar Hammerstein II. It includes songs that are still popular today: Can't Help Loving That Man, Make Believe Bill, You Are Love, and of course, Old Man River. The stunning choreography of Wendy Hall climaxed with a rousing Charleston and the 27-piece orchestra headed by Charles Peltz all contribute to the success of Showboat. It doesn't get any better than that. Well, now it's time for our guests. We have 3 award winners on our show today, and I'm going to introduce you to them right now. The first one is Mikey DiLoretto. Next to him is Victor Shopoff, and next to him is Avery Bargar. And these guys are all award-winning actors. Yeah, you're all actors, right?
Well, you could say so. From time to time.
Well, you run the Happy Medium Theater. Victor, you're directing the show, and Avery, you're starring in the show. So let's talk about it. Roman Noon is the author of Brendan, the show that you're going to do.
Correct.
Tell me something about that.
He's an amazing playwright. His stuff has been done at the Huntington, Gloucester Stage, Boston Playwrights Theater. He's very well known in the Boston scene, as well as actually internationally. His stuff has been done all over the world. He really focuses on Irish lives in America and how they change throughout.
Has he done any films?
I don't know, actually. Maybe. It's in his bio, so if you come see the show, you'll find out.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that.
There you go.
Okay. Victor, I saw you in The Normal Heart, and I saw you in Bent, and I thought your performance was I can't describe it. It was so great. In fact, you won the Ernie for Bent. I think because of the second act of that. I mean, that was, I can't say thrilling, but it was mind-grabbing. I mean, there was something about it. It was so strong. How did you feel about that?
So it's almost an hour of just lugging stones back and forth across the stage. Just 2 of us on stage at any given time, with very few exceptions at the top of the scene and the end of the act. Rather, there's some guards come in, but it's primarily just a 2-person second act. And so it was really just a matter of staying connected with the other actor, Brooks Reeves, who was terrific in his own right, and also won an award for his performance in that show. And our characters were really not permitted to look at each other. That was all part of the game that we were playing, is that we were communicating with each other and connecting with each other, but not able to look at each other, because that could have meant death at the hands of the guards. So it was a very, very challenging role in that respect, because when you're on stage, especially with only one other person, you're used to making eye contact, you're used to connecting with that person, and we had to find other ways of doing that. And so we had a very aggressive rehearsal process. We started rehearsing with actual rocks pretty early on, because in addition to the psychological and the mental and the emotional trajectory of that act, we also had the physical demands of carrying these stones back and forth across the BCA Plaza Theater. And we're not talking about small pebbles or a small pile. These were big. These were heavy. So that in itself presented its own challenge.
What was going through your mind while you were performing this act?
There were a lot of things that were going through my mind at any given time. Mostly it was just making sure that I was listening to Brooks and that we were staying linked with each other. But then also it was making sure that I as a character was keenly aware that I was being watched at all times by these guards, and that I couldn't stop doing what I was doing, which was to continue to ferry these stones back and forth and to make a pile, and then when the pile was done, to make another pile at the end, and this horribly monotonous form of torture. And so there was that in itself, is that in the back of your mind, this is a game of survival as well.
But how did you know when the act was over? I mean, did you count the stones? How many times you went back and forth?
No, I mean,
keep track?
Honestly, the trajectory of the stone carrying changed with every performance. There were a few moments where we had to actually choreograph, putting down a stone or taking the last one from the pile, and we just got into a routine where that worked. But the way the act is broken up into 5 or 6 scenes is pretty well scripted. So we knew when we were approaching the end of a particular scene, and the amount of time that was passing between each one.
Stunning, a stunning performance.
Thank you.
And you deserve the Ernie for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, we have another award-winning actor in Avery. Avery, tell me something about your role in this production of Brendan.
Well, I play Brendan.
You're Brendan, okay.
I'm Brendan.
Okay. With an Irish accent.
I've been working on the Irish accent. Yeah, it's the joke is that when you're doing the Irish accent, you're this close to Lucky Charms, and you always have to kind of avoid that. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, and so the play opens with Brendan receiving a letter from home from somebody who he'd had a very close but contentious relationship with, or about somebody who he'd had a very close but contentious relationship with, and he finds out that that person has passed away. And so playing Brendan over the course of basically 10 days as he's grappling with the loss of this close relation who he didn't get to resolve anything with, while he's also trying to continue to adjust to his life in America. It's been very, very challenging and wonderfully rewarding, and the cast has been fantastic, and the directors have been wonderful.
In the cast, I mean, in the show, how long has Brendan been in America?
He's been in America for 5 years.
Oh, he has. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He is on the cusp of becoming a citizen during the show. So he's been in America for 5 years, and he's been working various jobs, but he's about to more permanently become an American in a more official way. So even though he's been here for 5 years, it's about to change in a very significant way for him.
Has he had problems adjusting to America?
Yes, very much so. I mean, for him to balance his Irish identity with becoming an American is extremely challenging. That's one of the meatiest parts of the play. What does it mean to become an American? What does it mean to live in America as somebody from another country? As an immigrant, as an Irish person, what does it mean to come to America? What does it mean to leave your country and not go back and not know when you're going to go back? It's very challenging.
Is it sad or is it heartwarming?
It's both, in a wonderfully Irish way. Yeah, okay. It's both. So Ronan does a wonderful, wonderful job with balancing these heartwarming, very funny moments with real tragedy, and challenging circumstances. So these things are really married; they go hand in hand.
Okay, Victor, you're directing it, or co-directing.
Co-directing it, yeah.
Tell me something about. What problems did you find with this? Were there any problems?
Actually, no, there weren't. So Brett Marks, who's much more of a director than I am, was sort of at the helm of the ship at the beginning, and just for a variety of sort of scheduling and outside of the theater issues, we just decided to sort of jointly attack this project. And so I was invited on to be a co-director. So Brett and I spent a fair amount of time before the rehearsal process started, just to sort of get on the same page about what we each individually thought of the script and of the play, and what was embedded within it, and then where we had divergent ideas, we didn't sort of pick and choose from each side. We tried to find ways of blending it all together. And more often than not, I think we were very much on the same page. And then we got into the rehearsal room together. He had a bit of a head start because I was wrapping up another show at the time. And so I came in and he had already done most of the work, to be honest. But so we've just sort of been refining and fine-tuning over the last couple of weeks. And I'm still in touch with him all the time. and I had the benefit of a really great cast. I've worked with 6 out of the 9 members of this cast previously, including Mikey, on stage. They're friends of mine. I've been in shows with them before. So I had a somewhat unique perspective coming into the process, in that I knew how they worked as actors, as performers. And I sort of had an idea, as an actor myself, I know how I prefer to be directed, what's most comfortable for me, and I tried to sort of funnel that into my approach.
That's the actor coming out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a good actor, then you can direct. But I've always believed that a director has to have an acting background to be really superb.
I think it certainly helps,
Definitely.
because
Yeah.
there are things that I steer clear of entirely, and then there are things that I really like, as these guys can tell you, I really like to focus on particular moments. And we'll get into a scene, and I'll say at the top, okay, I'm not going to stop you guys. And then, 2 or 3 lines in, okay, I want to stop here. And I'm notorious for that, because it's just
a famous line.
my famous line. I actually had to hold myself accountable for a full run of the show last week. I had to implement a rule that if I stopped for any reason, I owed the entire cast a drink. And I stuck to it. I didn't stop anybody, but it's very tempting sometimes, because these are all such wonderful performers, and there's so much potential and so much to work with. We have such a broad palette that it's very tempting when you see something to want to stop and hone in on it and focus on it and say, let's go with whatever's happening right now. And I do like to give the cast really free rein to experiment and to find what's right, and then just shape and to craft moments. The way I like to say it is just smooth out the rough edges here and there, just tighten up a couple of things. But I hate it when, now this is just me being completely honest, I hate it when directors give you line readings or tell you, now you're going to lift your arm on this line, you're going to walk on this line. Like, for me, that's not how it works. It's, let's get to the core of what this scene is about, what these relationships are about, where are you starting and where are you going to end, and how are we going to get you from point A to point B, and how are we going to do this together, and then just go and see what happens, and some things will stick and some things will not, and we just take it from there.
Is it unusual, though, for 2 directors to do a play, to have a co-director? I mean, they did it in Showboat. Fofanoff did it with Stacey Stevens, and you're doing it with another director. But that's unusual.
I think it's typically not the norm, because I think it does lend itself to the potential for a conflict of ideas and visions. But I think we all walked out, and I think it's just when Brett sat down with the HMT folks and said, okay, we need to find somebody. They may have, and I'd let Mikey speak to this, but I've known Brett for years. I think Brett knows how I think and how I work. And so I think they sort of minimized the risk of that.
When you know them, I mean, if a stranger came in,
right, then you don't know what you're in for. But with me, they knew what they were getting, for better or for worse.
Absolutely. So. He's been invested in the project since we first said that we were going to do it. And I think Victor's also a fan of Ronan, and also a good fan of Brett, and they've worked really well together. They really were on the same exact page. And it was interesting because the way the scheduling worked, it was like Brett left and then Victor took over and just recently sent us 111 notes. He's very thorough, hire him.
Okay. One thing that bothers me, in your original press release, you had Diego Arceniegas as one of the actors. Now I understand he's not in it.
No, you meant, I thought you meant Diego Buscalia.
No, Diego Arceniegas.
No, what it is that we have him as one of his credits in there is actually for you.
Oh, that's right.
He was in 2 productions that Diego
exactly.
directed.
One of the things he directed, and he was kind of a producer of it. It was The Draft, right?
Yeah, I was in the fall. I was in The Draft, which Diego directed, and then I was in Dog Act, which Diego also.
But Diego was not originally in the show?
No.
Oh, I guess that's a misunderstanding.
It might have been in my
bio. That's something we'll actually check out on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully people don't get
it says here, the show will feature 9 lauded fringe actors. Avery Nelson Bargar,
that's him.
Draft Hibernian Hall, Diego Arceniegas.
Yep, that's because we credited him with the actual show that was there. So because it was kind of like that's how it was credited, right? I think so. I don't know. You did the show. I didn't.
Well, anyhow, I thought he was in it, and knowing Diego as I do, he's a great actor.
Well, he's also a great director.
He's a phenomenal director. And to the point of actors who direct, that's one of my favorite kinds. Really, my favorite kind of director to work with is a director who, if they are not currently an actor, they have had lots of acting experience because I love to feel like, and this is what was great about working with Diego and what's great about working with Brett and Victor is that I don't just, when we're in rehearsal, I feel like I'm also in a really good acting class, and I feel like I'm really learning something about acting as I'm being directed by them, which I love.
How long have you been acting?
I started really I started to consider myself a theater person in high school. But I acted, since I was a little kid. I did a lot of productions.
Oh, like most of your life.
But yeah, really most of my life. Yeah.
How about you, Victor?
Sort of in the same
Really?
boat with Avery. Yeah, my breakthrough onto the stage was when I was 7 years old. I played the Ugly Duckling in a second grade production.
Typecast.
Very typecast. And then I did a few shows in middle and high school, and then I went to Emerson for undergrad. And I wasn't a theater major there. I did politics and journalism actually. So this setup is very familiar to me. But I helped to start a theater company there that is still in existence now, 16 years later, which is very rewarding for me.
Wow.
And I did some acting there and a little bit of directing as well. And then I sort of fell out of it after I graduated, and then just spontaneously picked it back up about 8 years ago. Started to audition just randomly. My first show that I worked on, Mikey was part of the design team. So we were back in the dressing room doing crossword puzzles together because I had a lot of downtime. And that's how I met him and got more involved and just sort of snowballed from there.
How did you feel when your name was announced as the winner of the Ernie Award?
Which time? So humble, very humble. No, I say that tongue in cheek because the first time was back in 2010. I was nominated for Enron, which is a complete surprise because I'd only really been acting for about 2 years at that point. And I looked at the other gentlemen that were nominated in my category and said, I don't belong here with these guys. And that's what I was joking with my mom and my grandmother at the time is that this is the caliber of people that I'm sharing a category with, so I feel like it sounds cliche, but I feel like I've already won just being here. And my grandmother had this wonderful saying. She said, you can always judge yourself by the company that you keep. And so what I thought to myself was, well, I'm in pretty good company with these guys. And then I ended up winning that year, and I was just floored. I act because I love it. And I get to meet really great people, and I get to have this artistic outlet for me. The awards are wonderful in terms of recognition.
Yeah.
What I like the most about the award ceremonies is that it brings the entire community together.
Yeah.
And that we've been nominated in shows together for ensemble pieces. Our best friends have been nominated in the same categories with us, and it's a nice celebration.
It's a great appreciation.
Great work,
Yeah, because it's again, I hate to sound trite or cliche, but it's not about who wins and who doesn't win because nobody loses as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
The fact that we're all there
Yeah.
to share in each other's achievements and to acknowledge each other's work and effort, that in itself is what I think it's really all about.
Absolutely.
But in answer to your initial question, it was a wonderful feeling, of course, to feel like you have been acknowledged for your work, and especially when you pour so much of yourself into a show like Bent, which all of us in the cast did.
Yeah.
That was an incredibly difficult show for everybody who was involved.
I imagine. Yeah.
And so that's why I made sure that it was a group effort when I wanted to acknowledge it, because it really was.
It was so funny when, because I knew that you had won before it was announced, and as an Ernie member, we now go up in groups of 2 to give out the awards, and Sheila Barth was the
I love that.
the person that was going up with me, and I said to Sheila, "Wait, let's do this so that I can give Victor the award and you can give the other one."
Nice.
Because I'd seen the show and I was so appreciative of it,
Yeah.
and I wanted to express my delight to you.
Thank you.
And it worked out beautifully.
Thank you.
And I finally got to meet you.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's get back to this guy.
Hey, hi. What's up?
Hi, how are
What'd I
you?
do?
You've been with Happy Medium Theater how long?
This is our 8th season.
8th season?
Yes,
Wow.
yeah.
How did this all start?
Over a few drinks with a couple of friends.
Oh.
We were literally at a bar, and we had just completed a show that wasn't very fulfilling, let's say. We had to sort of conform to standards that we didn't want to conform to, because it was almost like you had to change yourself to be a part of the company that we were just in. And I didn't like that at all. I was like, I really just want to have a really great time, produce really great work with my friends, and keep it as professional and fun as possible. So we kept our mission really simple. And we were like, you know what, we're starting up. We're going to become a 501c3. We're going to get our own bank account. We're going to each donate $50, have a fundraiser, call it a day.
You know what to do.
Yeah, oh yeah, we went through. We asked friends who had done it before. We asked business people. We asked a couple lawyers how we go about all this stuff, just because we wanted to get everything right. We wanted all the ducks in a row. And so we started, and we did our first fundraiser, and then our first show was back in 2009, and that was The Gingerbread Lady by Neil Simon. And from there, we've just been doing a lot of stuff. We've been nominated for a few Ernies. We've been nominated for a few Norton Awards. We won one, which was fantastic, and one of our actors won one as well. So we've got some staying power. We're still fringe. We love being fringe. We have no desire to become like, have our own space like the Lyric or the Huntington. We're grassroots. We're right there in the heart of our scene. So you control it yourself. Yeah, we have all the control over it. Which
Tell me, what happened when the Factory Theater closed down? What happened?
It was really bad because we were a resident company there. So we had 6 full seasons in that space. Wow. And people knew that that's where HMT was going to go, along with a couple other fringe theaters. So anytime you were like, oh, I'm going to see an HMT show, you were going to go to the Factory. And then unfortunately, when it closed, we had to completely revamp our season, completely do over budgets because things are so expensive. So we did a new work at the BPT, which was pretty successful. And then we actually did a show in a living room. We did a show in our 2 company members' living rooms, Mike Underhill and Kiki Samko, and it was Dying City by Christopher Shin, and it's set in a living room, and it was wonderfully received. So we kind of went a little alternative, and then we had to say, all right, let's get a little bigger, and we did just doing 1 show this season, Brendan, and that is going up at the BCA. But that's expensive.
Is this the second show you've done since Factory closed?
This is our third. Oh, your third. Third show.
Okay.
So the living room show, the BPT, and now Brendan.
Now this, okay. Now give me the dates on and where this is playing.
We are at the Black Box Theater at the Boston Center for the Arts, running from July 15th to July 30th. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 o'clock. Couple matinees in there as well. 1 industry night for people who have some money issues. That's on Wednesday, July 20th. Our birthday is on July 21st. Oh, Lord. So
really?
come.
Both of you?
Yes.
Yeah, we are birthday twins.
He's 10 hours older, though. So there you go.
You can
see it.
And if you also need some discount tickets, we're listed on goldstar.com.
Okay.
And if you want to get regular tickets, bostontheaterscene.com/Brendan.
Okay. Repeat that once more.
Okay.
So our audience will know for certain.
Excellent. July 15th to the 30th. If you want regular price tickets, bostontheaterscene.com. Half price tickets on goldstar.com. And an industry night on July 20th for just $5.
Well, that's reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having
us. This is fantastic.
For you, Mikey, for Victor, and for Avery. And I know you're going to be great in this show.
Yes, he is.
And Ernie will give you consideration.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, that's our show for this time. Thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you, Guy.
Thank you. Oh, my name is Guy Giampapa. Thank you for watching Preview. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.